We decided to write this book because our story is your story. Our journey typifies the optimism of entrepreneurship, as well as the systemic hurdles challenging small businesses more than ever. To launch a business is to be passionate about fearlessly and independently solving a problem. It's a uniquely American endeavor that has enabled transformative innovation and prosperity. But the promise of business ownership as a ticket to a better life no longer looks as bright as it once did. Despite a record uptick in new business filings during the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, entrepreneurship has been on a troubling downward slide for years. The rate of startup creation across the nation plummeted 44% between 1978 and 2012, prompting small business advocates to sound alarms. Pundits often point to the bleak statistic that half of new businesses do not survive 5 years. We believe the larger problem is the number of businesses that stay alive, but just barely, unable to scale to the point of sustainability. These business owners work harder and harder to grow, only to find that small is a permanent status. But you wouldn't know it from the sky-high ratings for TV shows like ABC's Shark Tank and the breathless media coverage of Silicon Valley unicorns hatched by young hackers. Turns out, those high-tech, high-growth tech startups that grab so many headlines actually make up just 1% of all new businesses. For the rest of us, it has never been harder to grow and thrive. As soon as a firm gets a chance to rev up production, close a deal with that dream account, or finally hire people to take on more work, there often isn't enough fuel in the tank to propel it upward. Instead, the opportunity to grow becomes an existential threat, challenging even the most optimistic entrepreneur. Businesses in this position teeter on a razor's edge between living to fight another day or running out of steam and calling it quits. As someone once said to us, the key to entrepreneurship is staying alive long enough to get lucky. But it shouldn't come down to luck when we know that the most basic need of a small business is access to capital. Capital is how you make your product, how you get your customers, how you tell your story, how you pay your employees. And yet, especially for minority and female-led enterprises, securing that propellant is exceedingly difficult. Minority-owned firms are more likely to be denied bank loans and to pay higher interest rates for credit, and less likely to apply for loans because they rightfully fear they will be denied. At the same time, women-owned ventures account for just 16% of conventional small business loans and 17% of SBA loans, even though female-owned firms make up a third of all small companies in the U.S. Big banks have pulled up stakes in poor and rural communities over the last several decades, so they no longer have a personal connection to business owners and local banks struggling to stay afloat. Compounding the problem is a broken definition. The federal government still considers all firms with fewer than 500 employees small businesses. This broad and outdated catch-all lumps together the corner pizza shop, the solo digital marketing consultant, the general contractor bidding on multi-million-dollar government transit projects, and the co-packer with hundreds of workers on an assembly line. When lenders don't consider the unique circumstances and backgrounds of individual business owners, it filters down into loan applications and credit scoring. Banks assume small businesses are miniature large businesses and evaluate them as unfavorable when they don't have the same type of collateral and cash flow as more mature businesses.